Okay, Aries, welcome to April's read. We're going to do something called the major issue, where we bust out just the majors out of one deck. We read with a whole deck, but we hit on general, relationship, and finance at the same time. Get a read, okay. So just with the majors, what are we looking at for Aries for April? Okay. That one wants to keep popping out. Alright. And we cut. So going on for you, we have the Magician in general, Hanged Man in relationships, and the Tower in finance. But let's dig, okay? And a Tower's not always bad. Sometimes I'm like, come on, Tower. So what's challenging you? In general, you have the Fool. In relationships, you have transformation. And in finance I lump in like career, prosperity, or just stability, all that stuff around you. Challenging you is the Chariot. So, reading it cold without digging a little any further right now, in general, you have the Magician and the Fool. So you have all this power to manifest and everything, right? Like you have all this stuff at your fingertips, you're ready to rock, like you're like, come on, let's get going. Challenging you is the Fool. You may have all this, but not know where to go with it. You may not know how to start. You may not know how to kick it off. So that could be your challenge there. So you have the mojo. You just don't have the direction, right? So if we're looking at relationships, the Hanged Man, I think you're kind of really getting perspective on stuff. You've taken a look at yourself, situations overall. It's just like you've done some work on it, right? And then the challenge is the transformation. This is also the Death card, but how do you change it? So there's a lot of like, you've done the work, you've done the stuff, you know that change has to happen, but how do you get out there, right? So in finance and stuff, you have the Tower, right? So the Tower is something isn't working on a fundamental level. At a base level, something is not right. So it can't really grow, right? But once again, how do you move? Have you been moving and it hasn't been deliberate and that's kind of strung you up a little bit and created situations where you're like, oh crud, I got to start all over again. Which kind of pushes you back into that Fool energy, or you may have really good ideas. It's just the execution is like, how? How do we do it? So you got a lot of how going on, especially since it's your seasonal. So we are going to look with just a whole deck now at each one of these and see what we got going on. So, 1, 2, and 3. So, 3 on general. We got 6 of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, 9 of Swords. Okay, remember how I was like, how do I start? Yeah, you might have been thinking about that. In relationships, you have the 2 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Swords, right? In career, you have 4 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, and Ace of Cups. All right, so if we're going to read these just by themselves without being clarified, having 9 of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, 6 of Wands. There's that, like, you probably have, like, a bunch of ideas, a bunch of really good ways to go, but, like, how? It's that how again. That 9 of Swords is like you just keep going in kind of this loop, and you know that this 6 of Wands and this Ace of Pentacles, this victory and stability is there. We'll clarify the how, because we're going to get to some advice business. When we're talking about relationships, though, you have the 2 of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords, people are like, it's heartbreak, it's blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but for me, it's you, a situation, or you and another person and the truth. So if you've come to something and said, like, hey, let's work on this, like, let's figure this out, let's, you know, try and figure out what about this isn't working, you might come to an impasse because no one's willing to move, or like you're the only one that's willing to move and you're like, I can't compromise, like world's in my hand, bro, like I can't be doing this back and forth business. So when it comes to, you know, the finance prosperity aspect, you're holding on to what you have, with this Four of Pentacles. You're not letting it go, but at some point you do have to, right? You have to Eight of Cups it, where, you know, you just got to be like, listen, I feel a certain way, I got to keep moving. But you have the Ace of Cups on the other side of that. So if you move out of this Tower situation or feeling or vibe where something isn't working, and the Chariot is that movement thing, maybe you haven't been willing to move, it's time to do it, because I don't usually add cards up like this, but if you have the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Cups, you wind up with the Nine of Cups, right? So we'll clarify just a touch further, see what we got going on. So we're just talking about back on the general. So this Nine of Swords, how is Aries going to get out of this? Eight of Swords with the High Priestess. I think you need to examine why you feel trapped, why you feel stuck, why you're not taking that blindfold off. You might just be very quiet right now. And you know, that can be difficult, especially if you have this energy of like, let's manifest, let's do this, let's go, but you're not able to at the moment. So let's get some clarity on the relationship part. So what about this feeling the Hierophant? Because stuff isn't being done the right way. If you got to do it the right way, you know, there's expectations, there's overall vibes of like, you know, this is how I roll. You know, let go, be dragged. So when it comes to doing things the right way, what can Aries expect relationships-wise? Okay, that is too many, but Nine of Pentacles was like, hello. All right, no more disappointments. No, it's like, you know what? I have these three other cups, and you keep shoving the same cup at me, and I'm like, dude, I've had enough. Like, I'm done. So how is Aries going to get over this disappointments? Strength. I mean, it's kind of like a duh situation, but there's this mojo that you have to kind of pull out, and I don't think you know which area of your life to focus on to make this happen, because you just need a little nudge. You just need a little nudge, and then like you're ready to roll. So looking at the finance stuff, career stuff, what can Aries do here? Give me something. Judgment. I mean, it's another like, duh, like, thanks, Tarot. I need to make a decision. But for me, judgment is more of like the spiritual version of justice. It's like I said, opportunities will start kind of popping up. Things will kind of start lining up where you're kind of just, you know the nudge is there and you feel it. And the Nine of Pentacles showed up on the bottom again. So one more, well, three more on the Judgment. So what are we doing? You're going to heal from any kind of devil stuff and get yourself balanced and together. I just, you know, anything that was holding you back to that Eight of Swords energy, you know, what is your own stuckness? And that Hanged Man thing, I think, is going to be the tip-off, because you have to let stuff go. Like, you know how like a rocket goes into space and it just burns off the fuel? Burn off the fuel. And then you know what they do with the rockets? They shoot them into space. They let go of it. They're like, done, you've served your purpose. I'm going to the moon, or I don't know where you want to go. But, yeah, so burn it off. Burn off that excess stuff. Move on. So now we're going to look at each area with the Oracle here. And we'll just pull a couple. This is like Lenormand. It's very practical. We'll hit you with that. We'll give a couple on this. Aries and April, what are we looking at? 1, 2, 3. All right. We got the Lion, the Track, and the House. If that doesn't speak to stability, I don't know what does. We'll clarify in a second. But the Lion is some kind of surprise, but you kind of have to feel a little defensive about it, because if you surprise a lion, it roars back. It has some power behind it. So with the Track, what does a train do? A train stays on the track. If it gets derailed, that's a problem. You don't want that. And the house can be overall your stability, but can also be a sense of pulling back a little bit. Like, where do you go to retreat? You go to your house, right? So there might be a little bit of pullback to get you on track. You might have to kind of not defend it, but guard your time. You know, pull back. You know, those Eight of Swords obligations and stuff. Where you're like, no, I can't help with that. You know, I can't put myself out there like that. I'm sorry. You know, maybe next time I'll help you, but not right now. Relationship wise, anchor, fox, and snake. Usually I say the anchor is like a grounding energy, but in this case, it feels like it's something that's holding you back. It's that held back energy. And with the fox and the snake, normally the snake I say is like, you know, being defensive and stuff. But with the fox next to it, it's kind of that combination of like someone's just trying to figure out a way to keep you where you are. And like, we don't want that anymore. There's also like a, they hate you because they ain't you vibe, where it's not so much jealousy. People just don't know how you wind up with stuff. And you're just like, because I work for it. Like, it's a novel concept. There is that kind of vibe where somebody might be benefiting by keeping you where you are, you know, mentally, spiritually, etc., because they're not doing their work. So it's like eyes on your own life. All right. So looking at career, what are we doing here? You need to find something that you care about that actually resonates with you, because you got the heart, the pig, and the ship. The pig is the fat and happy card, but it's also a prosperity card because, you know, a pig can just kind of rest on its laurels, its little ham hocks. But with the heart and the ship, there's something that you want that's bigger than what you have. And it's getting there that we need to work on. So going back to the general, how are we going to do it? We're going to master our emotions, but at the same time with the fish, this is also a career card. This is also a practical card. So if you have practical concerns that you want to focus on, this will kind of get you out of any other stuff. This is putting yourself out in kind of social situations. So don't fully retreat, because the garden is about social stuff. It's about growing things. So maybe start looking at making connections, how you can beef those up. Communicating, yeah, the letter. So you need to kind of look at ways you can branch out of your typical circle, stuff that you're interested in. I don't know, go to classes. Here's the offer with the bouquet, because we're looking at the romance or the relationship stuff now. I want to clarify that because yeah, it's an offer, but it's almost like with the swords, it's like heard it before. Yeah, I know this song. I know this song. Someone wants recognition for not doing a lot, because here's the mountains. It's just always like another obstacle, another thing. Like everything's a thing, and you're done with the things. So we're talking about the career stuff. What are we talking about with here? The dog, the loyalty. You want something you can really kind of put your faith in. And I'm not saying companies are like, yeah, you want to be happy because there's the wine. Just make sure it's not like on a superficial level, like you're not running to stuff that just feels good for the sake of feeling good. In the book, there might be something that you need to do, you know, and here's the guy. So there might be a mentor that you're looking for, somebody that you connect with that knows more than you do, that can help you get to where you're going. You might have to take classes. I was trying to say that back here. There might be some kind of like extra classes you can do, online stuff, whatever it may be. But I mean, look for branching out, because I think that's your ticket. Because whatever loop that you feel like you're kind of on repeat, it's time to break it. Because you have all the fix-ins to make things happen. You just need that nudge. You need the little push. Remember the Judgment card was popping out back there? I think you're going to get little, like, you know, taps on the shoulder. Like, Aries, it's time to go. And listen to them. Don't second guess it. So now, Cosmic Pep Talk. We're going to do a crystal deck here. See what is good advice, or some kind of, you know, stone to keep with you if you have it, or just think about the qualities of it. One, two, three. All right. Smokey Quartz. Hello, that's a pretty one. It's grounding, clarity, and calming. And this one indicates time to let go of past hurts and problems. Open yourself to transformation. I mean, what were we just talking about? Alright, Aries, that's what we have for April for the major issue deck, and I hope that's helped you out, and I'll talk to you later.